Well, Chip, it's another bright, sunny Friday. What are we up to today?
Okay, so today is shaft. We're down to it. So we're gonna follow through here and make the shaft for the Bay 2 setup. Basically 2-inch shaft from end to end. We'll probably face the ends. And we gotta key it. And so I think what I'm gonna just decide that we're gonna do, we'll make a command decision here. You agree or not? Do you agree? Let me know if you agree with me.
It doesn't matter if I agree or not.
Well, I think what we're gonna do is make the shaft for the Bay 2 thing and just continue along that plan of getting that one running.
Yeah.
And then we'll prove out everything that we're doing. And I mean, keying this other segment. We got a 6-foot shaft here. It's straight dead hard at 72 inches, and we're gonna cut it in half. So we'll just do that. Pardon us, but we're all dragging this friggin' cold around. I actually feel okay, but I can't stop coughing and gacking. So,
well, this is certainly up your alley. Even says so right on your shirt, Dr. Shaft.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's right.
we're definitely in your world now.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not tubular, but got the same old tired Carolina saw that cuts exceedingly straight.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to look at, but it does a good job.
Hey.
Kind of like me.
Yeah. I actually had somebody tell me that one day, that I was a lot smarter than I looked.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the beginning of that.
Okay,
So,
what's the next thing, Chip?
So we got our shaft cut correctly. We're gonna just do this manual. I'm not really gonna write a program for it. So what we gotta do here is find the edge. Got an edge finder in here, so I'll show you how the edge finder works here in a minute. But that's the edge finder. It's kind of a funky thing. If you've not ever seen one of these before, it's like, what the heck does that do? It's an ingenious little thing. So we're gonna have a 3-inch key here that's captured, so I'm not gonna blow out the end of it. It's just gonna be a radius on the end, and the key will stay put in the keyway. And a 6-inch key here, same thing. So I'm setting up a planer jack or just a regular jack. Some people call them planer jacks. I do too, because I have a planer. So that's just a little screw jack. It's gonna go into here. It's got a little removable V-block that helps you center things. Put it in there upside down. I'm just gonna put it in there. I'm not really gonna do anything but take a little bit of tension on that so that this doesn't get to be trying to do some harmonics when I am milling this key where it's overhung a little bit. I got part of the key in the vise and part of it's gonna be overhung. So I'm just gonna put that in there and I'll just take a tug on that and just give it a little bit. I'm not gonna give it so much that it deflects it, but so we'll show how the edge finder works. So you can see that right there. Now you can see it spin. It's not a tool bit. Let's see, it's just a tube and a tube. It's offset. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit when I start it. All right, so I'm going to come in. Just touch the edge of the work. We know that's a 2-inch shaft. We know that's a 1/2-inch diameter edge finder. So you're going to go in like that. Just touch, you see it's set sideways. So I'm going to look at Y right here. Y equals 0. Y 0. Come back out. Set it off again. Come back like that. Just let it touch. Straightens out. It's off 1.5 thou. Do it a couple of times to take the average. One. Come back. Yeah, we didn't make it better. get it to where we go. Yeah, that's the one we want right there. So we know that that is a 1/2 inch diameter. So to be on center of that, it would be move over a quarter. That's a 2-inch shaft, so this is an easy one. So you go over a quarter, watch the arrow here. So we want to start from 0, find 0. We're by. So we want to go over a quarter. That's 250 thousandths. So now the center of the spindle is on the edge of this. So we move over half of that. So now to go the rest of the way, to put the center of this on the center of the 2-inch shaft, we got to move over another inch. So because that's 2-inch shaft, so half of that's an inch. So when we move over and it reads 1 inch 250. Right there. We're just going to look visually. Just look at it from the end. I always look at this end, look down the end, just to get a visual boom, and you know, so it's a reference, but still make sure you're on. So I'm going to set that at 0. So set that at 0 right there. So that's our 0 for cutting these keyways, and then the length of it probably just gonna eyeball. But that's how you know, that's how I go about it. That's pretty much universal. This is nothing, not top secret. Edge finders have been around for a long time. Before that, they had wigglers. They still use wigglers once in a while. So now we're gonna put an end mill in there. Gotta fish the edge finder out of the collet because it's actually stuck in there right now. So we will get back here in a minute. Looks better.
Yeah.
Take a little break. Back. We're just feeding this manually. I could have wrote a program for it, but doesn't take that long. We're only cutting 2 of these, we're not cutting 100. So we're going to deburr this. We'll probably get this cleaned up. I was, excuse me, on the phone. But so the hook tool, everybody's got the hook tool. It's a homemade tool out of a 1930s machinist toolbox, and it's just the handiest thing. Go like that, especially on the edges. I'm kind of a fanatic about deburring things. I like things to be correct. And this guy here does the same thing. This is commercially available. Both of these do unplanned skin removal exceedingly well, so do not try not to slip when you have them in your hands. But that's the deal with that. So we've got the keys fit to the taper lock bushings that are going to go. This is going to go in the drive coupling, so that's going to have the. We're using a sprocket. You're going to see us modify to bolt the drive shaft to. But this is the QD bushing that goes in it. So we fit this. These the keyways that were machined in here, the pocket depth is non-standard because the headroom in these were not the traditional depth. This should be 2 1/4, and this one measured 2 inches 217, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one was only like 2 inches 225. This one here. So we went back in and made the pockets that they fit into a little bit deeper for the appropriate headroom here, so we didn't have to mill the keys. So I've made a million modified keys, you know, like one specific thing, but they always bite in the ass because the key gets lost and you want to just put another keyway in it. It turns into this thing where you got to get the milling machine where you're down at the hydro dam and it's lost. So I like to do these things this way so that they fit. When you got a key, when you got a component that's broached with low headroom, I usually, whenever possible, and you can't do that on a big gearbox where you can't get the gearbox in the milling machine, but when we're making shafts like this, I always make them so that they take a standard key wherever possible, just for the ease of down the road, because it always seems like I cut the corner and then it ends up biting me in the butt later. So done. So we got this, and you can look in here. I mean, we got about 7 thousandths headroom in that one, probably about the same in that one by the numbers. And it fits good. You know, it's taper lock. It's going to suck up and grip onto the shaft anyway. But so that's the detail stuff. So we like that. The next stop is going to be, we'll show you the little tabs we got to make to hang the gearbox on. But our goal today is to get this shaft and the gearbox in the head frame for the first time. So we're gonna persevere here and try and get that done. So next up is gonna be these tabs. All these little details matter. It doesn't, you know, it looks like stuff you don't even give a second thought to, but we gotta hang this gearbox both here in the shop and down at the dam horizontally. And it's not usually in that position. It usually hangs this way and goes on to the takeoff roller that makes a conveyor on a screening plant go. That's what the gearbox is for a screening plant or some similar like that. So this had that tab on there, but it only had one. It was just so they could hang it up. But we got to hang it horizontally. So I had time to mention a few people that have helped us. Jason Pear, New England Steel Fab. He made these clips for us. These are the angle plates that go there. He did the original ones here for the bed plate, for the floor plate, the bearing plate. And he just recently made these that just bolt, they're Siamese together, as you can see. So shout out to Jason at New England Steel Fab for doing that excellent work for us. And these things were line-to-line fit. They were bent exactly square. They're square and parallel, cut parallel. The lengths were correct. Perfect. So then the next thing is what I was saying about these tabs, hanging the gearbox from the tabs. We had one tab to go by, and Paul Gendro, work of art fabricating. I texted him a picture of this tab, and like half an hour later, maybe an hour later, he texted me back a picture of like this on his CAD on his layout, and had this concept all ready to go. So I took this down there and he copied them for me. So there you go. I do have to drill this hole here, so we're gonna rig up, the next thing up is we're gonna rig up a little quickie jig. So we're gonna use this as the model, so we can just drill these, because his plasma did a nice job on the exterior, but that 1/2 inch hole is maybe a little much. So I told him we'd just drill it. So that's that. But couldn't be happier with both of them, because they got this stuff right to us when we needed it, and we really appreciate that. So that's a win. So the next up was we're gonna make a quickie little jig, because we're gonna try and get this thing hung today. But we need some tabs so we can bolt it to the rim of the gearbox. Right here and here. We don't know exactly what we're gonna do, but this came out of there. Oh, there's Pet Chicken. So we're probably gonna do something like this and maybe here and here so we can have it hung evenly and then get the shaft up through it. It's going to be a little tricky. What do you think, chicken? She doesn't know. So, just because there hasn't been enough drilling content lately, no, I'm joking, but, so we whipped up a little fixture real quick. So here's the tabs. I did drill a pilot hole in it with my other drill press over by the drive shaft bench. So that's just going to drop in there. Boom. Stuff it all the way forward. We'll grip it with a Pelican beak vice grip, and we're going to pick up. This is the same drill I drilled that with. It needs to be 1/2 inch, but we're going to establish the pilot hole and line the radial drill up with this drill right here. So we'll get to that right now. Socket in there. Come on, baby. Have I mentioned lately how much I like this radial drill?
I don't believe you have.
Oh, really?
Make sure everybody knows.
Was that a drinking game for somebody?
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Yeah, it was.
Who said that?
Well, it was one of the guys I work with.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Abe.
Abe. There you go.
Yeah.
Have a drink.
Have a drink, Abe.
How about that?
Look at that.
That looks reasonable. Okay, so we got all the holes drilled, and as we usually do, we get rushed up and started getting this thing assembled for the first time. So this is what it looks like, and we're gonna just have everyone ride along here for a short period just to see, document what we're doing. Just wiggle everything.
Yeah. You need to go forward a little more.
Really?
Yeah.
I know.
That's better. Okay, now
It's either going to pick that up or it's going to pick everything up.
that's what I'm wondering what it's going to do.
Well, let's find out.
Try it.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Again. Okay, so where do we want our shaft to live?
so this will kind of like wrap the day up here, but so if you've been watching along, you've been with us through a lot of the drudgery of just drilling all kinds of holes. I mean, we've been making a lot of parts, and it's been kind of like this abstract thing, and it is boring. I mean, it's a little tedious for us just making all these parts when they're just a piece on a, a sketch on something we imagined or laid it all out. I mean, we didn't just make it up, but form follows function basically here. But the drudgery of just drilling hundreds of holes and cutting and just stuff. So this is seeing the gearbox in the head frame for the first time and not just a sketch on a piece of paper. So that's a big step today, and to get through all of that, and it really assembled good.
Quite well. We didn't have to struggle really at all.
No, it
Everything slid right together.
so basically take and grab that, and we'll just take a look at the details here. So this will represent belt tension, and we'll talk more about the belt here in a second, but this is how we're going to tension the belt. And you can see down there, this represents the shaft, the turbine shaft coming up out of the pit, and its turbine literally is 14 feet down, basically from the floor level, which is that right there. So that's the top of the turbine shaft. In real life, it's the same height out of the floor plate. That's going to become the drive adapter, and there's going to be a drive shaft. Think of a front drive shaft for a four-wheel drive truck. That's basically what's going to be in between here. We did lay this all out and gave ourselves the offsets that we thought we wanted. Now that we've got it assembled for the first time, and you're seeing it like we're seeing it, we're going to shorten this 4 inches. So what's that mean? We're just simply going to cut this key down further. point to? Right there. There's the key that you saw us cutting earlier. We're going to just extend that down and slide this whole mess up and snip some off the top. And just so we've got less tail hanging down here. We don't need all this hanging down. So that's a win. We learned that. We had to do this to learn that. The shaft collars and all of the bearings and everything works the way we thought. So if you see this, what I'm turning right here will be turned by the turbine, and this is going to go out and turn the generator, which will be, turns out shaft to shaft is 27 inches.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's 5 miles away. So Robbie's got a belt.
Yeah.
It's going to show you what. So what kind of a pulley is that?
Gilmore. And then you're gonna have a belt very similar to this. Oops, of course a lot shorter.
Yeah. And we don't even know. These are stuff. Here, I'll hold that. Yeah.
And that'll run
That'll go
out
over
to the
here.
generator.
The generator will be about where his hand is. And that's going to be the belt drive. This will be, what, 2.5 to 1 overdrive to the generator.
To the generator.
This is 9 to 1 here. And we're trying to be, what?
We gotta get our speed up to about 1,826 RPM.
Yep. So, the tabs we were drilling in earlier, that's why we needed the tabs. Right here, here's the tabs installed. And those worked ace, just like we planned. I mean, I couldn't be happier. The concept of this is pretty much, I've been visualizing that gearbox flying on that shaft for like 8 years now. This is the first time it's actually been there. That is actually a reduction box off of a screening plant. We're going to run it backwards. Well, it's going to be overdrive instead of gear reduction. So that's how that works. How it's going to work. So that pretty much wraps that up, I think. Don't you? I mean,
I think today was a huge win for us.
Yeah, no, and it takes it from the abstract to actual pieces, and it's not just a little bunch of random pieces with some holes drilled in it. It's actually taking shape. So, yeah, and
it'll really come.
We mentioned Paul Gendro,
Yeah.
work of arc welding. He did the plasma cutting for us, and Jason Pear at New England Steel Fab did the bending of the clips. And he also did the original ones that made the bed plate out of in 2017. So, yeah, we're going to continue on.
Yeah, it'll really come together when it gets down.
When we get down there, we got some more work to do, but we're going to stay at this. Yeah. And so, what do we say? Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week.
I'll see you next week. So, what day is it, Robbie?
It's Friday again.
So, yeah, I'm still gacking with this friggin' cold, so I'm going to let Robbie do the talking, because I can't.
So, what we've discovered is we've got the gearbox all in, and we made up our shaft last week, and we're going to shorten that shaft by 4 inches. And we don't like the length of it. So we're going to take her out, shorten her up 4 inches, and then we'll put it all back together. We've also been talking about, once we get to the dam, how we're going to put this thing all together, because we've got limited ceiling height, and we're working on a couple of different ideas on how we could run cables up around here and support this thing and get it lifted. We may end up drilling a few holes here and here, or we may end up using something that clamps on the top of this.
We got to get it balanced out somehow, and just because we are going to fight.
Yeah,
it's going to be a battle down there. We got low headroom, and
we don't have much headroom compared to what we've got here.
And the trolley we use for pulling the turbine and the shafts and stuff out, it's
really
going to be a net fit to the top of this thing, so we don't have headroom enough to use that.
I think our actual hook on our winch back there is right about here.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So we're
Probably cut like a 3-inch hole here so we can come down. Well, this gearbox is indexed around the wrong way, but take one tab and put it here and on the other end of this, so when the gearbox is in here crossways, we could reach down through an imaginary hole that we haven't cut yet and hook onto it right there and pick it real short with, I'm thinking a pair of boat winches.
Boat winches, yeah.
With some 1/4-inch cable in them.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking.
And I think maybe we could find some garage door pulleys.
Yeah.
Garage door.
Yeah. At
know,
the top of the
hardware. I'm looking at my own garage door right here, and this one doesn't have it. It's just got the drum.
This has got
But
the
there
drum.
is some of them ones that have like a snatch block. And
snatch block and a pulley.
This fabricated tin pulley.
Yep.
One of them puppies right there on a little bracket would be slick, and then we could put a boat winch wherever we could.
I mean, you could even hook to the floor beams.
Yeah, but I think I'd be more inclined to go over to the motor stand, which is
It's higher. You're not gonna.
It's substantial, and you'd be less.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would work. That may be. And if we had the little pulley thing, so it was it was tangent with the center of the hole.
Yeah.
So in other words, when the cable went over the pulley, it came down
center
in
of the hole.
the middle of the hole and had it on like a yoke, so it could
Kind of pivot.
be self-aligning a little bit.
Yep.
I think that might be the trick. And then we could have a cable and everything, and just, we don't have to thread it through anything. We could just flop it over the pulley.
Yep.
Take up on it, and the weight would keep
The weight
thing
would
on
keep it in it. Yeah.
Or we could put a little finger over the top of it. But we got to be able to load it
Right.
and deploy it quickly, and not spend a half a day just rigging that up.
Yeah.
It just has to be able to go together. We'll figure that out.
Then we just leave those pieces with it, and if it ever needs
Then
to
the
come
next
apart,
generation
the next generation can deal with it.
We'll take pictures of it and carve it in stone. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I guess we're gonna.
Do you want to mention the box set?
Oh, the box. I can't. Good job. Don't do that.
It's kind of nice. It's all grouped
Yeah,
together
it's here
now.
for Easter.
Yeah, it's there for Easter.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
That's a drinking sport. Watching 9 hydro dam videos. So somehow Paul rigged up all 9 of these videos, and they all come up together. So I texted them to Robbie the other day, and I was here just in time for Easter, the box set.
The digital box set.
Everybody's been waiting. So, yeah. I'd kind of forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure somewhere in the scheme of things, as we were rigging this up, we were talking about taper locks. And for those of you who may not know how that all works, so basically that's a bushing right there, and it's got a 2-inch hole in it, which is keyed. We did key the bushing is keyed, but we keyed the shaft too also. You'll see that in a minute, or in a little bit. So when you put those together, the taper, there's a taper machined in the hollow spindle of the gearbox, and there's a corresponding taper machined on the exterior of this. So you put it together, you suck it down with 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and it wedges in there, and it's a substantial method of engaging something. They're real deal. They mean business. So how do you get it apart? With the same screws, but they act as jack screws. So that's what I'm going to do right now. These aren't wicked tight, but they won't pop. They won't just pop out for the heck of it. So what the screw's doing is acting like a jack bolt right here.
There it goes.
Yeah, it just released. So those push it up. And yeah, so it's got the weight of the gearbox leaning against it off center right now. I can feel it. Yeah, it just
dropped again.
Yeah. Betty.
Probably a corn ones.
And Betty, the
Guard dog.
ever present guard dog. Betty the German Shepherd, she barks at everybody. So that's how the taper lock works. You can actually probably see the taper right there, and that's corresponding in there. So that's just how you remove them. If nobody's seen that, well, good. Probably a bunch of people have, but still good. Even though we said there wouldn't be any more drilling, Robbie lied. I was checking up on that, but sometimes you guys have seen plenty of drilling, but sometimes it's the simple things in life that make you. That is a perfect bubble. See that dot in the middle of that hole? See if I can. There's a bubble formed in there after I pulled the hole saw up out of there. See it? Yeah, there it is, right there. You can see that. Here's your physics lesson for the day. I wish I could remember what that was. It's like surface tension on a meniscus or something like that. But yeah, and high school physics was a long time ago for me, so pardon me if I got it wrong. But yeah, the natural wonders. Robbie's working on a VFD for the horizontal boring mill over there. He's on the other side. And I'm working on the lifting device. That's the top cross member. My buddy Jeff is working on the Suburban, so we got a full house today. There's actual progress on the Suburban project. This is going to run here in the next couple of weeks. It's been in the background in all of these photos and videos for literally 2 years. So there's Robbie, hard at work. He's remaking the ice maker into a secret weapon.
Yeah.
Because he's that kind of a guy. And Jeff is busy at work looking for spark plug wires for this thing, which may run again someday. Is this going to run again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're all set on spark plug wire.
Like a week. Oh, you know what? The fan and everything is all cleaned up, and it's hanging over there. It's hanging over there on the edge of the planer. That's all ready to go. I think the fan, the lid for the heater box has got cleaned and painted. Not the heater box itself, but so Robbie's got the horizontal boring mill VFD working so that it's going to slow the input spindle's pulley speed down there that you see turning down to the correct speed and make this machine sound much less angry, because it was running close to twice as fast as it was really supposed to have been. So considering this machine is quite likely 100 years old or close to it, 80, or it's certainly 80 years old, if not 90 or 100, but still going to be a good old girl and go to work. We'll get back to this over here. I just got to cut this last hole, and that's going to be the beginning of the lifting device. So,
Well, good morning, Chip. What have we been up to this morning?
So we'll take a look over here, and you can see the gearbox is in position where it's gonna be. And what do we think that thing weighs? 300 something pounds.
It's about 300 pounds.
Yeah, it's more than we're gonna lift manually when we're down at the dam. So we're making a lifting device. So we just got garage door track wheels that Robbie picked up, and we're putting together a little roller assembly right here. And you can see, we'll just real briefly, and you'll see it when we're more done. But we cut holes in it right here, and so this pulley is gonna ride there, and we got it rigged up so that the cable's gonna come over the pulley, down through the hole, and grab, just come down here, and hook onto these eyelets that we have bent up, so that there's going to be a hook coming down, or a cable coming down through here, and hook onto these when it's on the floor down at the hydro dam. And we're going to use 2 boat winches attached to the generator stand to pick it up.
Yep.
And so we're laying this pulley out so that the outside diameter of it is going to be on the center of where this thing needs to go to come down through the center of the hole. The hole's drilled appropriately. As you can see, the lifting rings are, approximately where they need to be. So that's what we're up to. And we're just making up this. Here's our base plate. We've got a few other pieces that are going to be, you're going to see us working on. And we're going to build these so we can get this one step further to go into the hydro dam and being deployed. Okay, so Robbie, is that what we're doing here?
That's what we're doing.
Okay, so this is what this is all about. We got more to do here, but this is a little in-process look. So that's going to be a slot right there. I've got the magic marker line. But there's the pulley on a couple of stands, little flat bar pieces we made. And the cable's going to go up over that, and then that hole going down through there is going to be going down through those holes there and grabbing these eyelets. So that's what the gist of this all is. So our layout's pretty close, and I think we're happy with that.
Yeah.
We're going to cook them on there, and we're going to make a little, well, that isn't actually it, but we're going to make a little dowel piece that engages the hole in the head plate to keep it centered, and just try and keep all this stuff in line so it does what it's supposed to do and not tip over. So yeah, I think we're on the right track here.
So what are we doing, Jeff?
These are the thimble pieces that are going to go down through the 3-inch holes in the top plate. Those are actually some 1-inch long pieces of 3-inch 083 drive shaft tubing. Go figure. I cut them off with a saw. I'm just going to face them a little bit and chamfer them just so they're not disgustingly jagged. The skin that we save will
Maybe our own.
Yes. We'll have a little more feed here.
Have we lost any skin today?
Ow! Almost did just then. Yes, right there.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And that was from a cardboard box.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be a complete day unless we... Wouldn't be a complete day unless we did. Quickie chamfer. Just make it look like we didn't build them with a hatchet. That's all.
All right.
She's a 6-jaw chuck, very nice thing. Oh no, he left the chuck key in the lathe for a second and took his hand off.
Oh,
Off the chuck
a
key.
violation.
Almost would have killed him if he didn't. But the internet experts are crazy. That's nothing special, it's just a piece of 3/8 high-speed steel that has been in this lathe since I've owned it, basically. I think I'm going to sharpen it a little bit once, but... Alright, so we've got these deburred, as you can see. And we're just going to have a little look. This is what... show what the concept of this is all about. Robbie's got this string. Excuse me, still dragging a cold around. And that represents the winch cable that's going to be back at the generator stand. And so we got a little piece of material on there, but that comes down. This is all laid out, so it goes down through that slot, down through the hole that we cut in the top, and it comes down. This is going to be a hook. It may be a like not a carabiner, but something. Yeah, one of those those nut and bolt. What am I trying to say? The repair link.
Yeah.
Or a clevis.
Or a clevis.
Something we can get through there without any trouble. But so 1/4-inch cable to here with an eyelet in it, and then some kind of a hook to grab these guys. And keeping in mind that this is all about getting this from the floor in the generator room down there up here, and you know, what do we think this weighs? 300 pounds.
Probably close to 300.
Yeah, so that's
more than two of us want to wrestle.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the concept of what this is all about, and so that's how we approached it, and that's what it ended up. Excuse me, what it ends up looking like. So the next step will be the drive couplings for there, and just continuing. I mean, we're gonna build the drive couplings, the drive shafts that connect this together, and then we're gonna make an anchor point. We're gonna use boat winches for at the other end of this, like it's like 3 feet away, so the actual cable is going to be pulling, like Robbie's got the string
right from here. Yeah, that's the actual point.
To that wooden block. That's our mock-up. So the cable, the pull cable, is going to go down at a slant towards that, and we're going to have 2 winch boat winches. We'll just have to pick it up and then get it over the cross member, and then swing it in here, and then pass it, hold it. That's what this is all about: is holding this suspended in this opening.
While we pass the
shaft up through it, and put the shaft in the bearings and all that stuff. So that's where we're at. Yeah, that's where we're at. So that's pretty much a wrap for the day, I think. Yeah. So as always, we say thank you for watching, and
hit like and subscribe.
There you go. So we'll catch back up next week when we continue on. So it's Friday morning, and we're down at the hydro dam, Robbie and I. What are we doing today, Robbie?
Well, we're double checking measurements, and
so there's the generators. Yeah, that's right. We're just confirming some measurements, just because we're getting all this stuff really
getting close
down to it. But it's also been like 2 weeks of straight rain.
Yeah, pretty much.
I heard on the news, out of 21 days, it's rained 17.
Yeah, we're
rain or snow.
We're actually over on the amount of precipitation for the winter now. In February, we had actually in Kennebunk no snow whatsoever measurably.
We're giving away our global positioning.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that being said, yeah, and we had an ice storm too that shut us all down for like 3 days. So that was pretty awesome. So let's step out here on the deck. There's the road.
We're looking at about 200,000 gallons of water a minute going over that dam.
And our peak a couple of weeks ago was what, 400?
470, I think, thousand a minute.
Yeah. And that's pretty reliable because you might have heard us say before, there is a USGS river gauge like right around the corner under the bridge, downstream. So it's pretty convenient for them to have put that there for us. So thank you guys. We saw them this morning actually between here and the shop. So if you see the spillway there is quite active. It is busy here today. There's a lot of water. The foamy area right down next to that set of stairs, that's the exit from where the turbines are going to exhaust out of. And there's the raceway that the water will be exiting from. There's no water traveling through there. That's backfed right now. So thought we'd have a look while we're here. And I think it's beautiful.
Oh, great spot.
Yeah.
Great spot.
Yeah. Every bit beautiful as it could be. Especially when the water's ripping like this. It's just really something to see. So, back to the shop and back to it. Over and out for now.